You're listening to Tabletop Arcanum, a podcast dedicated to learning and exploring the hobby of tabletop gaming. Your hosts are Justin Taylor and Richard Geese, so sit back and relax as we talk, discuss, and joke our way through the hobby we love so much.
Do you have what it takes to hunt a killer? Private investigator Michelle Gray needs your help to solve a murder. Sort through the evidence, decode ciphers, piece together clues, and solve the crime. It's like an escape room delivered to your door every month. Welcome to Tabletop Arcanum. We're your hosts,
Justin
and Ricky.
So, yeah, hunt a killer. That's a thing.
That is definitely, it's definitely a thing. We have, boxes in front of us with hunt a killer material in them.
Right.
And we're going to do a review on our limited experience with it. I have more experience from the past.
You actually had one of the prior series that you actually did a little bit with your girlfriend. They were kind to us, and we got hands on another one, so we actually had some more material to look at and a little bit more evolution of the Hunt a Killer subscription. So we can kind of compare it to the old, compare it to the new, and yeah, I hadn't done one of these before, but I've done 24 plus escape rooms at this point. So escape rooms, yay. Board games, yay. I guess this would be my first experience with a subscription box. So I haven't really seen much of that, so that's something.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at it first, though. Roll recap. Ricky, what have you been playing in the last 2 weeks?
I've been playing a lot.
Because I didn't talk to you in the Arkham Knights recap.
Yeah, you had a lot of fun without me. I've been painting, and I can call that a board game because I'm very, very bored of it.
Oh, painting is fun. Happy little miniatures, right?
No, large, boring walls.
Oh.
I moved into a house, Justin.
Oh, you're painting walls?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not as fun as miniatures, sorry.
Yeah, no. But other than that, of course, Harry Potter. I have played a few just odds and ends here and there. Nothing to write home about, unfortunately. It's hasn't been too exciting for me.
The only thing I've played since the last episode release, which was the Arkham Knights recap, which I talked about how much Arkham games I played while in Minnesota, is we played even more because we didn't have enough. We got and busted out the Mansions of Madness Path of the Serpent expansion that I brought back and got to play a couple of the new scenarios from that. And boy, it has some great scenarios in it.
Nice.
Watch out for snakes.
Samuel L. Jackson could have told you that.
He
many moons
may
ago.
have been tired of the amount of snakes that were in those games when we played.
Yeah.
May have.
Sick and tired of these
Snakes in this snake jungle temple thing.
There you go.
Yeah. So, it was fun.
Yeah.
Looking forward to some Gloomhaven coming up, some more competitive LCGs. More importantly, the launch of Marvel, the Champions LCG. Which
November 1st.
November 1st.
Super hyped.
And some stores will have it on the 25th of October. If they met a certain threshold with a distributor, they're actually getting a early release. So that'll be kind of cool. I know I'm going to get a copy of it on the early release cycle so that we can play the heck out of it and talk about it on actual release November 1st. So that's actually a preview of upcoming. Next episode, next week, will be Marvel, the LCG, the review. Champions.
And, I'm going to try getting at that because it was a ton of fun from what we played.
Right. I'm more excited to get into the rules reference, the more nitty-gritty details, get my hand on the card pool itself and actually see what sort of deck building is out of the core box. Those sorts of unknowns that we got the base mechanics from the demos, but I want to see what the next level of complexity is.
Yeah.
And whether this one core buy-in is really accurate or not.
Yeah.
I think it will be, but it all depends on when the other hero packs like Captain Marvel is in the box, She-Hulk's in the box, Iron Man's in the box, Spider-Man's in the box, Black Panther's in the box. Then we're going to get Captain America shortly thereafter, Miss Marvel is also coming next. And then they did spoil the third hero will be Thor. But I think we're going to have one or two of these scenario packs. We're going to have Green Goblin. I think Wrecking Crew is going to come out before Thor. But we'll see. It's kind of a wacky, wild LCG because they're not going off of cycles or releases like the other ones have, because they're just going to release, here's a pack, here's a pack, here's a pack, here's a pack, here's a pack. And the types of packs are going to give you different types of content, whether it be a whole new character with a pre-built deck and some extra cards, or is it going to be a new scenario to play against? So we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hunter Killer, man. Let's talk about this thing.
Let's jump straight into this.
First impressions.
I've already had my first impressions previously. You just had yours today, right before recording.
It's a neat little box. Something really cool to show up at your doorstep, and then you kind of crack into it, and you've got authentic-looking documents, authentic-looking memorabilia. Like, we got a little pin in ours. That's for, funsies.
You're using your back to the 90s cooler koozie over there?
Yep, we got a little koozie in ours. And then, so you get the little stuff, like the little knick-knacky stuff, which I think is a loot box sort of thing in general. But then there's the documents, like we had a big fold-out map. We had a blacklight, little LED blacklight thing to find hidden clues with. So we're going to try to make this as spoiler-free as possible, but at least talk about the contents here. Overall, first impressions, it's a nice package.
Yeah.
The items and the pieces are about the quality that you would expect. The koozie isn't going to be something that you are going to live with forever, but it's a nice little touch.
And the one thing I do like is when you're going through it, you realize that they really worked on the backstory of quite a bit, where it's not just this is what happened. It's these are the people. Okay, right. You can look up incident reports. You can look up their activities in high school. You can look up quite a bit of information on these people before you start passing judgment on them.
Right. So we got like this 90s reunion piece, which was kind of neat because then we're looking at someone, this group of people had a reunion and one of them ended up dead. So we were looking through the police reports. We were looking through their witness statements, trying to figure out their timelines of who was talking to what, items and things like that for us to look through, which the one thing I'll also say is it came with a checklist, which is really nice to kind of tell, yes, you have everything in the box that you're supposed to have. That way you're not wondering, like, are we missing an item? Are we missing a clue that just didn't happen to be in this box, and now that's why we're stumped? So having a non-context checklist was very smart. Any other first impressions?
They do give you kinds of fun little knickknacks and stuff like that. So, it's also nice to have a little swag to go along with whatever you throw in to get the box. It seems very well put together, just looking at it.
Okay. So the pros. Let's talk about the good things about this thing. Honestly, hyper convenient. I would say this is really good for a couple people to work through together, like a date night sort of idea, or maybe two. I would probably not suggest more than 3.
Yeah, I'd say 3 is going to max it out.
4's really pushing it because each box doesn't have a ton of stuff to go through. Because they're on that subscription model of you found out this one clue, this one piece, you eliminate this one suspect from this box. Wait next month until you can do it again.
Yeah. And, like you even saw, like we saw today, just the two of us, there are certain things that I was looking at that I had a big pile of papers, and then you were done, and you were just kind of twiddling your thumbs until I got through that giant, the majority of the evidence to then hand it back over to you to look at.
And so, if you have that 3 or 4 player sort of situation, then that's where, you'd have to be more careful about making sure everyone's passing things around very nicely and playing together, because it's going to be very easy to have one person kind of overrule the group or stalemate because they, like, give me all that, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's why I think 2's the sweet spot. You can definitely solo it if you want.
Yeah. I think another pro is content outside of the box. I mean, they have websites set up. It's pretty intricate where they actually have, you're reading through something and say, hey, I have information on this website. In a previous box, they actually had clues where they mentioned a song. You looked up the song within the video. You saw information. Right. So it seemed pretty well orchestrated the way it was, where you just didn't really see it coming, and then if you don't do that stuff, you miss.
Yeah, honestly, the nice touch is like the theme of, there's a PI kind of who hired us to help look at this stuff. Mm-hmm. So, we got access to her website or her virtual drive or our spoof desktop. So we, got to poke around what she already had collected. Mm-hmm. But on there was a link to a Spotify playlist, so you can actually have a themed playlist for while you're going through the box, which I thought was a cool little touch. And if you wanted to really make it like a date night, they had a link to a bunch of gin and tonic recipes all on there. So it was kind of a neat touch of trying to like casually build your experience with the tools that they already have, which is what's in the box and then a website that they built for it. And if you get stumped, they actually have a lot of cool communities out there, people working together to kind of like, yes, this is, what I found, this,
They also do have recaps. So they give you a bookmark that has a code to go get a recap of the story to make sure you don't miss anything.
Right.
And it'll give like a short description, like the intro letter. And then you have to click on it to reveal what they're trying, or reveal a hint, and then you can reveal another one to actually figure out exactly what it's supposed to be. Right. I do like that instead of just going to a website. It's like, okay, you should have collected this, this, and this. Instead, it says, okay, it's on that page.
Did you look at this letter?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Did you look at this part of the letter?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you find this part?
Yeah.
Kind of like the Clue 1, Clue 2, Clue 3. I've seen that used in escape rooms before, too, where they'll try to give you like a more of a casual hint to start with, and then they can focus you in a more specific hint if you're not getting it, which is a powerful tool. You want to make sure you want to have access to things like that so that you don't get frustrated and stuck and then just want to cancel your subscription. We used it to verify that we did everything.
Yeah.
So lots of cool stuff going on with it. Some of the flaws, I will say, is that it is relatively limited. We didn't really know we found what we needed to find in the box until we actually did the recap and went, I think we found everything. And we checked and went, yeah, we did. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's also, it's relatively short. Hunt Killer was relatively short. We did get to try out their new Escape the Invasion, which I felt was a little bit longer. But the Hunt Killer itself, at least the class, or back to the 90s, class of 98, it wasn't that long.
I think they were about the same. I think the Invasion was a little bit more what we liked as a theme. I think that's what the real trick was. We were a little more engaged with it then.
Fair enough.
Both descriptions, kind of pick your theme. Hunt a Killer, I think, is their mainstay capstone. So, I would probably say try that one first. And then if you like that or you want the different theme, then they've got other options out there.
Yeah.
But the subscription box idea is neat. I like the fact that you're going to kind of get this continuous game going. I just kind of want the whole story to start to finish, and that's where I really like the Sherlock Consulting Detectives, because it's all in one box. You run a case. It's usually a couple hours going through this case, and then you're done. You got the story.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an instant gratification to me.
I mean, it does. I can speak to this personally with me and my date night with my girlfriend with this. It was nice to have a date night with it to spread it out month by month so that we didn't spend an entire evening just doing this. It was spend an hour doing this, make dinner, spend an hour doing this, then watch a movie or something. So it was nice. And if you really think about it, the price point, I want to say $30 per box. If you get multiple months, you get a discount on it. It does seem steep, but if you split it between two people, if it's like a date night, $15 each, I mean, that's what you would pay to go out to the movies anyway. So it kind of evens itself out.
It does. I will say it does have, like, we were talking a little bit about your original experience versus the one we just had. The one we just had is a little bit more, like, repackageable.
Mm-hmm. The previous one that I had, it was, you need to cut this up and you need to twirl it around and do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Right.
So when you're done with it, it was done. Like, that was it.
Right. So that's, like, the difference between the exit escape room games that are out there and the unlocked escape room games that are out there as far as the board game market goes, because where the unlock, you kind of go through the deck and you can put the deck back in order and then hand it off to a friend or something like that. That's kind of the experience we got with this. Though the opening the box and like ripping open packages, like you can't really replicate that.
Yeah.
Because we had like the dossier and stuff like that we kind of like tore into, and then there's also a note page that we started filling in on. So like if you're careful, yes, you could repack it. But the other one you had definitely was the nope, you can't do that.
Nope, it's done. Yeah.
So it all depends on what story and what campaign you get, that whether or not it's repackageable, replayable in that sense. Unfortunately, it's not going to be replayable, much like an escape room or much like any of those story narrative based figure out who done it mysteries. We've done this box. We've figured this box out.
That's it.
You and I probably can never touch this again.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, some sort of tragic accident happened and, our memory got rewiped. Like those Men in Black with that neuralizer.
We should start a business. Just keep rewiping people and sending them through the same escape room. Probably lots of lawsuits from brain damage, but you know what?
Well, it depends on the technology. If we can get one of those neuralizers, then we're okay, I think.
Yeah, otherwise shove them to the back of the head.
Right.
Works just fine.
But yeah, like, I like it in that sense. I pay $30 to do an escape room usually. I feel I get a more complete experience from that $30. It takes about the same amount of time-ish. But it's all because it's that subscription-based model and that comfort of home idea. So,
and it builds on itself. So it's kind of like if you did an escape room that after you did 6 of them, you got an even bigger story than just doing one by one by one by one. Exactly. So
I guess final thoughts, recommended for?
Definitely recommend it for couples or friends. Before when I got my initial subscription for my girlfriend for my birthday, I told some people at work and they got really jazzed about it because they had been buying it and getting together just for friends night, hang out, drink some wine, play some Hunt a Killer. And everyone I've talked to who have done that have had just an absolute blast. So I definitely suggest that for someone.
I think it's a good gift because you can gift a subscription. And it is definitely a more affordable gift than, I would say, the mystery crates that are out there, because those are a lot more in detailed and depth and a lot more crazy. But I think for dollar for entertainment value, doing it as a gift, I think is a good idea. You already hit the couples date night. You also even said kind of earlier, and it kind of resonated with me, in the make this not necessarily your whole evening, but a piece of your evening. Like Hunt a Killer in a movie.
Yeah.
Is a great combination. Pepper dinner in there somewhere if you want.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get an entire night of just straight gaming from this. It is a supplement to your evening, and it's a nice addition to the evening. So it kind of gets you interacting with someone. It gets you like engaged in something, really digging through stuff, and then you go on to the brain dead part of it, where you just sit there and watch a movie in silence.
Right.
So
I think, recommended definitely in those categories. I would not recommend this for someone who's like a deep mystery lover or someone who is looking for that instant gratification, because you're not going to get that in this box. Also, if you're the mentality that you do not want hints, I would caution you not to get this as well. Mostly on the sense of you will not know when to stop. Unless you say, hey, I think I've got some hints.
Yeah, Hunt a Killer, you don't really know when the box ends. The other one that we tried, the Escape the Invasion, that one had a finishing point where it just said, hey, cool, thanks, wait for further instruction. And that just is that hint that, hey, you're done.
Right.
Which I really appreciated. Hunt a Killer, you have to kind of
know that
take
natural
a
spot.
tiny like peek, through your fingers to see on the website if you had finished it or not.
Right. So that's where I would caution people against it in that sense. It's not necessarily a true terrible thing, but there are certain personalities and people I can think in my friend circle that would probably get frustrated with it more than enjoy it. Mostly because they'd probably be looking for something a little bit deeper, a little bit more takes up your evening versus the small appetizer that these are.
Yeah.
So I think that does it for our Hunt a Killer. I say it's fun. It's neat. If I got it as a gift, I'd be happy with it. I don't know, unless I went in with like you and I split the cost of one. I think I'd be comfortable with that price point, or getting some sort of discount or deal on it. Paying the full $30 per box is a little steep, but they do offer the extended subscriptions and things like that. Not only that, but if you actually go to the website and type in the coupon code Arcanum, as in Tabletop Arcanum,
during your
checkout, they actually are offering a code with us. So if you're interested in hunting a killer,
save some dollars,
courtesy of us.
Yeah. I would definitely, I mean, like I said, I got the first box in a gift because my girlfriend didn't realize that it was a subscription. And we went back and I actually paid for the rest of the 6 months just so that we could finish the story.
Right.
So, if you're splitting it with someone and it's going to be like a dedicated one night a month, let's sit down, let's do this. Yeah, definitely suggest it. So,
so if you have hunted a killer before or decide, hey, let me try that out, hit us up at Tabletop Arcanum, either through Gmail, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm trying to think of all the things that we're on.
All the social medias.
Most of the social medias.
90% of social medias. We don't have a Tabletop Arcanum Tinder yet.
No. Probably won't.
We don't want to be rejected so much.
I can only take so much rejection in my life already.
Hey, we're two guys talking to you about video or about board games.
In a basement.
In a basement. No. Okay.
So, yeah, I think that kind of covers it with Hunt a Killer. I think it's a good product in the sense of you get a lot of great presentation. They put a lot of time and effort in the writing and details, and it shows.
Yeah.
I do compare it to a lot of the more detailed-oriented escape rooms. It may not necessarily focus on the puzzle aspect as heavily, but the atmosphere and the world that they're trying to share with you is definitely there, and it's worth the value for that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. For our next episode,
Marvel.
We are definitely getting on that hype train, choo-choo, as soon as possible.
Wakanda forever.
Yeah. Oh. Our poor...
FLGS.
Yeah, FLGS.
It's okay.
Yeah. But we have a new FLGS that will ease the pain a little bit. And that'll do it for us here at Tabletop Arcanum.
Yeah.
Make sure to
like, subscribe, do all those fun things.
Yeah.
Reach out to us. We're lonely sometimes.
All the time. Justin, I'm lonely all the time.
Oh. Don't you live with someone now?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so, till next time, keep hunting those killers and escaping those invasions. This is Justin.
And Ricky, do the thing.
You've been listening to Tabletop Arcanum, hosted by Justin Taylor and Richard Geese, and featuring the original music by Paul Moore and Isaac Gilbert. You can follow us on most social media platforms. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review on whatever platform you listen to podcasts. As always, thanks for listening.